Niçin buralara geldiklerine vakıfız. Petrolümüz için geldiler elbet. O kara altın ki, belasıyla da, nimetiyle de nicedir bu topraklarda. Kara altın ki, devletleri kılar imparatorluk, Adem evladını da canavar. Canavarlar ki, sırf cenk etmekten anlarlar. Bu topraklardan petrol fışkırmaya devam ettikçe, sulh çölde bir serap gibi ırak olacaktır buralarda.
The British have landed on our shores and are threatening the entire Alfo Peninsula. We shall meet them head-on at this outpost here, at which point we will complete a fighting withdrawal to our second line of defense in the Sunvada marshes. Finally, we will fall back to our key defensive position, the fortress of Fao. As long as its walls remain standing, the British quest for oil will perish in the sand.
And there you have it, everyone. Welcome to Operations, specifically the Operation Oil of Empires. Today we are doing the first portion of the operation. This operation at most can span, I believe, 3 maps. And today what we are doing is the, whatchamacallit, Fao Fortress portion. And this is the first portion. And mainly what I want to do today in this video is talk about operations, what it is, how to play it, and all that stuff. In the background, you'll be able to see me playing. Currently, right now in the footage, we are in the first phase of the operation. And this is kind of where I want to start out. So, operations, what I would say is it's kind of a hybrid of rush and conquest. That is the best way I've heard it explained. It gets a little bit more complex, but I'm just going to talk about it in general right now. So when you are in game, in a map, I'll talk about the multiple map portion part later. When you are on a map, there are different sectors, as you can probably see right now. What happens, that this is kind of like Rush, where you want to push through each sector, except instead of destroying objectives, you're trying to capture them. And then you might think, oh, that's not super different. The thing is, it kind of is, because in Rush, what you can do as soon as you destroy an objective, you're done worrying about that, and you're done, and then you just move on. Here, however, it's a little bit different, because since you are actually playing to capture a flag, you have to continue to hold the flag. And depending on, like here you can see, I'm not sure if the sectors can vary, they might be able to, but right now in this sector you can see that there are 2 flags. What you have to do in order to win, you have to simultaneously cap both flags. So this is a little bit more complicated, and also this is why operations is a lot more large scale than something like Rush, whereas Rush, at least when I was playing it, I think it was yeah, back in the beta, it was 12 on 12, I think? So now with operations, this is full-out warfare. This is 32 on 32 last I checked. So this is going to be a lot more massive. Maybe not 32 on 32. Might be 24 on 24. I seriously don't know. I'm loopy, alright? I've been lacking sleep because I've been cranking out all the videos. But it is larger than Rush, that is for sure. And then, okay. How it works, like I was saying, with 2 flags, you have to cap both of them, and that adds a new dynamic because you actually have to hold both of them, and you can't just go, have everyone go to A, destroy A, then everyone else go to B, destroy B, because that opens up an opportunity for the other team to go back and recap the first objective, which means you have to coordinate a lot more, and teamwork is a lot more necessary in this case, because if you don't communicate, you could very well let the enemy recap a flag and whatnot, and that kind of just leads to, you don't want that, 'cause then the enemy will pretty much hold off your advance, and you do have an amount of tickets, as you can see in the top of the map, and then those tickets, what they will do is if they deplete, you lose. But it's a bit more complicated than that, because you have 3 garrisons / battalions you attack with, and that's like 3 lives, right? So if you lose, you still get 2 more chances. And if you lose on a map with a game changer / behemoth, I just call them game changers because they seriously change the game. Like this one, this map has the dreadnought come in. What ends up happening is that dreadnought is called in if you lose a life. So if you lose a life here, which I think does happen eventually, what they will get is they will get a dreadnought to help them in their assault, along with a fresh battalion and a fresh amount of tickets. I think it's like you start with 150 tickets, and then you are whittled down throughout. And then as that goes on, you can lose pretty much, at most, you get 2 dreadnoughts since you have 3 lives, but your first initial assault, you do not get a dreadnought. So at most, you get 2 dreadnoughts with your attack. Now, let's say you win the first map. Well, your lives carry over because since this is an operation, it's kind of like a bit of a multiplayer campaign in that you're actually going to move on to another map after that. So in this one, I think the next map is the Suez Canal, actually. And what happens is your progress carries over. I'm not sure if the tickets from your last attack carry over, but I do know the lives do. So let's say you die once in the first phase. Well, when you move on to the next one, what happens is you will get, you will still have that 1 life lost. And then throughout the entire operation, with that amount of lives, your goal is to beat the operation. That's what the attackers have to do. And that's what makes this such an interesting game mode, is that it's so long and it takes a lot of... It takes a lot, you know, it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot more complex than all the other game modes, and personally, it is my favorite game mode right now. Honestly, I enjoy it more than Conquest, that's for sure, because Conquest is the classic Battlefield, but this is something new, and I love it because it still has Conquest elements, but it brings in just such a new way of thinking about it. And then the cool thing with the dreadnoughts, as you can see here, is that go in with a bomber with a torpedo, and that's the thing. When they have the dreadnought coming, it's not only the dreadnought can do more damage, but that can divert more of the defender's attention to the dreadnought, leaving the objectives more open and just making it a whole new dynamic, which is why Operations in its complexity is so freaking great. But other than that, like I was saying, 3 lives, multiple maps. I think 2 to 3 maps is how many it can span. That sounds about right, yeah. So I think you get 3 lives in all of them. And am I missing anything else? No, I think that is about it. Like I said, each map comes with different sectors. You get a set amount of lives every time, and overall, it's just awesome. You know, it really is. In terms of tips and tricks I might have for this, really just make sure you remember that your goal is to get those objectives, especially when the battleships start coming in, or the behemoths start coming in, because those things can distract you. If you're the defenders, remember, your ultimate goal is to defend the objectives. And even if you lose one objective, remember, you can still go back and you can go and try to take that objective back before it moves on. And speaking of that, after a sector is captured, there is this interesting little phase that the attackers and defenders go through, known as for the defenders, the retreat phase. So all the survivors, after the sector is captured, everyone in the sector will get marked. They literally have a target on their head that anyone in the game can see, which is really bad news bears, because that will usually lead to bullets being shot at you, right? So after that happens, that phase, if the attackers, they need to kill all the retreaters, or all the retreaters have to flee back to the next sector. And after that happens, the next sector phase can go on. Not the next map, the next phase. And then what happens is the attackers, for every retreater that they kill, they actually get some tickets and some lives back. However, this isn't only bad for the retreaters. The retreaters can try to make themselves a little bit of a stand. They can hold off, and if they kill the attackers, they can still whittle down their tickets without having to worry about defending an objective. So that's kind of another interesting little mechanic, is that there's that in between, that little phase that can lead to just it's not necessarily the attackers. They just have to kill people. They're not trying to get any objectives. They just have to kill people, and you know, the defenders can whittle away tickets during that. But for the attackers, it's also really important because they get tickets back, and those tickets are very crucial since their tickets are constantly being whittled down throughout the entire operation. But other than that, I think that does about cover it. Yeah, I think that is really about it. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I do highly appreciate it. Have yourselves an awesome day. Hope you're excited for Operations. Hope you're excited for all of Battlefield. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.
We lost. The British, not satisfied with conquering half the world, have taken these lands from us. But this curse is also a blessing. For now, we can join our brothers to attack the Suez Canal.
Sometime after the British secured the oil fields in the Persian Gulf, the Ottomans launched an audacious attack on the Suez Canal, the key to maintaining British dominance in the world.